Hello everyone, my name is Julie, and today I'm going to go through the 12 books I read this November. I'm going to tell you if I liked them, the general plot of things, no spoilers. So, of the 12 books I read this November, 1 was mystery, 1 was fantasy, 3 were romance, 4 were horror, 1 dystopian, 1 thriller, and 1 nonfiction. So a pretty decent spread. I like some variety, as you could tell. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first book I read this month, which was Finlay Donovan is Killing It by El Cosmano. This book is sort of a comedy slash mystery. Our main character, Finlay Donovan, is a single mother and an author of crime novels. When a stranger misunderstands a conversation she is having with her manager discussing the plot of a new book, she thinks she's a contract killer and tries to hire her to kill her husband. With a lot of shenanigans, Finlay Donovan is dragged into the world of crime with her babysitter slash sidekick, Veronica. This book is super hilarious. Once I started reading it, I literally could not put it down. It was probably my favorite book this month, so of course I gave it 5 stars, and I would highly recommend it. On my TBR for next month, I have the second book, so clearly I enjoyed it. The next book I read was A Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas Westerbeck. This book follows our main character, Aubrey Torval, who at a young age grows deadly sick, but she finds that when she's brought from her house to the doctor's office, she has a miraculous recovery. Through a lot of trial and error, she discovers that staying in one place for too long gets her really sick. I'm talking blood out of all of the face orifices and agonizing pain. So basically the book shows Aubrey in all these different places with all these different companions. There's not a super cohesive through line of this book. It's more of stories throughout her life, and you find out some interesting things about her disease that the author kind of personifies into being a voice in her head that just wants to see the world through her body. I thought the synopsis of this book was super intriguing. I think the actual application of it wasn't as stellar, so I gave this book 3.5 stars. I think for the author's debut novel, it was a good shot, but I would like to see what he does in the future. The next book I read was Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and I know this book is super popular. It wasn't my favorite. Magnolia and BJ are 2 pretty unlikable characters, and they both do terrible things to one another, but yet they're still madly in love. I don't know, I wasn't really buying it. I thought it was kind of a quick, fun read. I still gave it a 4 stars, but honestly I might round that down to 3.5 stars. And then I read This Spells Love by Kate Robb. This is another romance book. Our main character, whose name I don't even remember, has a bad breakup, and so with her sister, her best friend, and her aunt, they do a spell to make her forget all about him. The spell works, but it also makes her best friend forget her. So she has to reverse the spell by kissing him. She has to meet him again for the first time, make him like her, make him kiss her, so that they could reverse the spell. It was a little insta-lovey. He went from not knowing her to being madly in love with her. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. It wasn't that good. I gave it 3 stars. The next book, however, was very good, and that is The Last House on Needless Street, which was recommended to me countless times by my friend Billy. This is a horror book following our main character Ted, who you can kind of tell pretty quickly isn't stable. He's got a lot of weird quirks to him. He's suspected of kidnapping or murdering this little girl Lulu, and Lulu's older sister Dee kind of becomes an integral part in the story as she tries to accuse him of this crime. I was really impressed by this. I think I guessed a couple of the plot twists, but then I was completely wrong because the plot kept twisting. I gave this book 5 stars. It was really, really good. Take not only my recommendation, but my friend Billy's recommendation too. Then I read The Selection by Kira Cass. This is a classic YA dystopian book. 35 girls are competing in this competition to become the queen or the princess or whatever to marry Prince Maxon. Our main character, America, is not like other girls though. She doesn't want to be with Prince Maxon. She doesn't want to be royalty. Instead, she befriends him and tries to help him with the competition. Of course, she ends up falling for him, but she's also got a boy back at home. So you've got the love triangle, you've got a caste system. It's honestly really funny. I probably will continue the series because it's just so quick and funny, and I live for like an OG dystopian book. I gave this book 4 stars. I'm sure if I read this when I was 16, I probably would have rated it 5. The next book I read was First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This is a thriller book with a lot of false identities, with our main character Evie Porter, whose name isn't even really Evie Porter, at the forefront. She is sent on this mission where she's supposed to kind of spy on this guy Ryan. So to get close to him, she starts dating him, they move in together, and through a lot of twists and turns, you have to figure out who to trust, and you kind of realize that she doesn't want this life for herself. She'd rather settle down and be happy like the life she's pretending to have. I think it came pretty close to winning like a GoodReads Choice Award. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. And if you're looking for a little fun thriller, this might be it. Next we have Wild Eyes, the second book in the Rose Hill series. I really liked Wild Love, and I really loved Wild Eyes. I thought it was really cute. It is a single dad trope. We have Weston, who is brothers with the main character from the first book. And we have Skylar, who is a super famous country singer who goes to Rose Hill to record an album. I thought the romance in this book was super cute. I thought the kids were really cute. Honestly, I thought sometimes they spoke like they were older than they really were, which was a little weird, but I still loved it nonetheless. 5 stars. I don't have really too much to say about it. It's a small town romance. You got some country vibes. The next book I read was Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom. And oh boy, I loved this book. This is kind of a colonial witch story. Our main character, Abatha, is sent to the New World, to a Puritan colony, but she's not like the Puritans. She doesn't want to shut up and just listen to her man. She wants to speak her mind. She doesn't really believe that much in religion. She's more in tune with nature and kind of witchy rituals. That of course gets her into some trouble. Slewfoot is kind of a goat-like monster who befriends Abatha and helps her thrive when she's kind of down on her luck. This is an amazing story with revenge and violence and gore. I really love this book. I gave it 5 stars, and I'd recommend it to anyone who likes horror / historical or just a girl with revenge story. The next book I read was The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. This is a non-fiction book following the girls and women who used to work at watch dial factories, painting watch faces with radium. Of course, we know now that radium is very dangerous, but at the time these girls were told it was safe, and they spent all of their time in these factories working with radium. This follows their stories, their medical journeys, and the lawsuits that they had to take part in. This is really devastatingly sad because all these women who were getting sick, no one knew how to diagnose them, but when they finally realized it was the radium, it was sort of a death sentence. There was no cure. Next, I read an advanced reader copy, What the Woods Took by Courtney Gould. This is a YA horror / thriller. It doesn't really start to feel like a horror until like halfway through the book. It's very slow and meandering. A group of kids are forced into wilderness therapy, but when their counselors disappear and strange things start appearing, these kids have to kind of band together to get out of the forest. So of course there's an aspect of found family, there's some monsters. This book was fine. I think it's more catered towards a YA demographic that I find myself kind of falling out of at this age. I gave it 3 stars just because it felt very, very slow. Final book I read this month, I know this video's been so long, is Joyland by Stephen King. I've been reading a lot of Stephen King. This is kind of a newer one, and when I say newer, it's 2011, so not really anymore. This is a horror, it's a thriller, it's also a coming of age, so it's a very interesting combination. Our main character, Devin, is going to work the summer at Joyland, an amusement park. Him and his friends are trying to sort out a ghost story that happened at a haunted house ride at the amusement park where a woman was murdered. What I really liked about this book was that it wasn't just a horror, it had the coming of age aspect. So we saw Devin, how he started at the summer and how he grew his relationships with not only his co-workers but people in town. Stephen King, you did it again. I gave this book 4 stars. So alas, those are all the books I read this month. Did you read anything good this month? Please let me know down below in the comments. I'm always looking for more suggestions to add to my never-ending TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scout, and goodbye!